Welcome back to another episode of the Marathon Mortgage Happy Hour. I am Rory Farrell.
And I am Mike Witzak.
I do like that. I called him audible. I started us.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. Wow, I didn't expect you to start it up. It's the first time in weeks, I think.
Sometimes you just got to switch things up.
Yeah,
you know?
I like it. I like it.
All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are doing a little finger painting with Tired Hands Brewing.
Okay.
We actually did Tired Hands last week.
Yeah.
That was something that we cellared or that I cellared for a couple years. This is something super fresh. I literally picked it up today.
Yep. You guys should see the case of beer downstairs.
This was canned on May 24th, so within 3 weeks.
Yeah,
so
3
super,
weeks, yeah.
super fresh. Not that I'm super concerned with the freshness of this. When you want to be concerned with the freshness of beer, it's when it's a super hoppy beer, typically IPAs, West Coast Pale Ales, things like this. This is actually a pub ale. Hold on.
What am I doing wrong?
This is a nitro.
Oh.
You want to pour it straight upside down and not spill like I just did. All right.
Why is that?
Just the way that it's carbonated. It's carbonated with nitro versus CO2.
Okay.
Think Guinness, anything on nitro, like Guinness, Boddington, something like that.
Cold brew.
Cold brew, yeah, even cold brew. Yep. So it's carbonated a little different, gives it a smoother, kind of softer mouth feel.
Yep.
This is brewed with 4 different types of vanilla. And it's a pub ale, which is kind of just like a traditional English ale, low ABV. Can be a mild, could be a bitter, could be just like your standard, English style pale ale. So
Very nice.
I believe it's 5.
Welcome to our humble brew cafe. We've been brewing strange and beautiful beer here, 5 barrels at a time since 2012. We brewed this nitro pub ale with a blend of 4 different varieties of fresh vanilla beans. Ooh, This makes me excited.
It'll be good.
Make sure to shake this can well and pour vigorously. There you go.
See, you gotta do a little research before you start pouring beers.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I don't think we've done a pub ale before. We certainly haven't done a nitro beer yet.
No, not yet.
And I'm pretty sure we haven't done anything with this much vanilla in it. So
I'm very excited.
cheers.
Cheers. Whoa.
You can, just the mouthfeel of it's different than any other beer that we've
So
done so
smooth.
far.
It's bizarre.
Which is totally different than what we did last week, which was like super effervescent, almost like champagne-y. I don't know if you remember me saying that. This is like softer. This is a good beer.
Whoa.
Thank you, Tired Hands, as usual. But I had a settlement there this morning, and you can't be in Ardmore while Tired Hands is open and not stop in and get some beers. And I also stopped at La Cabra, which is they're out of Berlin, but they have a little smokehouse brew pub in Bryn Mawr as well. So
Very nice.
maybe we'll do that next week.
La Chupacabra.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Industry stuff. So I think we wanted to touch on, I guess, 2 different things. Well, not 2 different things, but explain what it is, and then you would...
Yeah, they work in conjunction. So.
Yeah, they work in conjunction. So today we want to talk a little bit about seller's assist and what they are. And in this market, they're very rare, very hard to come by, because when you're putting an offer on a home, you want to have the most competitive offer you can have. And when you're asking for a seller's assist, it does not make your offer really look competitive. So it's not something you see a lot now, but sometimes in certain circumstances, it ends up being a good thing. And basically what a seller's assist is it's when maybe you're looking at a home that's been on the market for a while, or the home might need a little bit of, touch up here and there.
TLC.
A little TLC, as some would say. You can ask the seller of the home, hey, I really would like your home. I want to purchase your home, but we need, X, Y, and Z done to it. So would you be willing to give us a seller credit? Basically, they'll give you money that goes toward your closing cost. It can only go toward your closing cost as a credit. It cannot go toward your down payment or any of those other things. So it's very, that piece comes into play here in a minute.
A little foreshadowing.
A little foreshadowing, yeah. But it's a credit that comes from the seller to you that helps you, cover your closing costs and gives you that little bit of money that you can possibly use later on for repairs or whatnot that needs to be done to the house.
Yeah, effectively just reduces the amount of money you need to come to the table with.
If you want to put it in simple terms, yeah.
I try to. So where that kind of came into play with my loan, my settlement, my transaction this week is that, so again, seller credit can't exceed your closing costs. And in this situation, the seller credit did exceed closing costs. And there's really no way to really be 100% sure when you're negotiating that seller credit in the very beginning, whether you're going to have enough closing costs for that seller credit to cover. So we're about $1,700 off. And I didn't want my client to leave $1,700 on the table.
Yep.
So we had to come up with costs. And there's a couple different ways to do that. You could always add like a home warranty.
A home warranty policy, yep.
But the way that we figured this out is that I effectively had the interest rate lowered. So as I'm sure we've talked about this in previous podcasts, lower the rate, more costly the fees are, and vice versa. Higher the rate, lower the fees. So what I did was I lowered their rate by a quarter. It basically created $1,700 worth of costs.
Yep.
So, twofold win. They didn't lose their seller credit of $1,700. They didn't leave that on the table because they didn't have enough closing costs.
Yeah.
And they lowered their interest rate by a quarter, saving them like $57 a month. So
it's huge.
And we were able to do that, the day before settlement, and they weren't expecting that. They didn't realize, that was even going to be an issue.
Yeah.
But from the get-go, I had this conversation with the realtor. I said, hey, if you negotiate the seller credit, it's a big seller credit. We may not have the costs to cover this, but we have a workaround, and this is what,
the workaround is, yeah.
How we can kind of make this right for the client. So
that's huge.
Basically I got the call him the day before settlement and said, hey, by the way, your rate's 6 instead of 6.25.
Again, plays into why it's so important to make sure your loan officer is tailoring everything toward you. So
yeah, and
shout out to
if
last
you're not
week's
looking
episode.
at the closing disclosure, right? After title and after the lender kind of balance, and you look at that final number of the closing disclosure. If you're not looking at it line by line, really going through it in a fine tooth comb, knowing like, hey, this cost is right, these prorations are right, this reimbursements to the seller are right, and really like making sure everything's right. I would have missed the fact that they lowered the seller credit from $16,000 to $14,300 or whatever it ended up being.
Yeah.
So because the bottom line, if you just look at the bottom line was right. But if you go through line by line, I realized that they had lowered the seller credit. So he was excited. He heard that his rate was lower and they didn't leave any money on the table. And happy
Boom.
Settlement this morning.
Yeah. So that's awesome. It's huge.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Is that would you consider that your win for the week or what?
I could. I have another one. Just real quick. It's kind of happened yesterday, a couple days ago. I got a referral from a realtor for a family member, and that always feels good because it's one thing to get a referral, from a realtor as a client.
Yeah.
But for them to, feel comfortable with you, working with their family directly, that always feels good. So, and this one in particular not only was it the realtor's son, they went under contract on like a 30-day contract for a cash deal. So who they recommended to get get their mortgage from really was key to make sure that, hey, we're not going to screw anything up. We're going to get it done in 30 days. They're going to be able to get a mortgage on this $900,000 house. They're not going to have to come out of pocket with all that money. So, I'm sure she could have recommended almost anyone. I'm sure she has other contacts, but coming from a realtor and having to be a family member,
that's huge. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm going to be honest. I don't have a win off the top of my head, but it would probably have to be, I would say if I had a win, it's going to be either I've been working with a couple. Unfortunately, they didn't get the home and they didn't, I don't even think they put an offer in. It ended up not being what they wanted it to be. But my win is that they had called me up the night before. They were looking for estimates on it. They really kind of were in a rush to get this stuff done. I was able to provide it with all of them. And I think now they had been working with another bank that wasn't able to provide them those estimates and offer and, pre-qual or whatnot. I forget exactly what they needed at the time, but whatever it was they needed, I was able to provide them like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And it just goes to show you, like, work. If our phone's on, we're working, Yeah. And some people.
You mean you're not taking a vacation this summer?
No. Yeah, but doesn't mean you're on vacation. So
what's the time difference in Italy?
Spain, and it's 6 hours. I think. Yeah. The last time it was. Hey, look. Be honest. The last time I was in Italy, I got a phone call at 2 a.m. from a client. I picked it up. That's not a joke. That's like a real thing. It's in one of my Zillow reviews. You could read one of my Zillow reviews. He's like, he was in another country. He picked up my phone call. I did. It was like 2 a.m. in another country, but I
always grinding.
Always grinding. Even in my sleep, son. So anyway, the whole point of that was I was able to get them that, and I feel like now I've really kind of went out above and beyond for them, and they've appreciated that so much. They've relayed that to me that they can't thank me enough for that, and that now I feel like the past 2 houses that they've put offers in, they've reached out to me for estimates and have called me about it. So I think they've chosen to kind of stick with me, and they know that I'll put their best interest.
Yeah, sometimes those ones that aren't just like kind of slam dunks give you an opportunity to kind of work through a couple different scenarios and build a relationship, and that's going to be our long-term relationship. And it'll be there when, they buy this first house.
And it was a realtor referral from a realtor I haven't worked with yet. So
There you go.
yeah. So
Good impression.
very good.
Cool. Good win. Good episode. Thoughts on the beer? Buy a 4-pack? Not buy a 4-pack?
I'll be honest with you. Hold on. Let me like that. Did I do it right?
Yeah, just vigorously, as the cans.
Yeah, like that.
All over the table.
Like that. That's vigorously, right? Yikes. Hold on. Get a nice over here.
All of our podcast.
You got a paper towel right there.
Soaking wet after this.
I would. I'd buy a 4-pack of it. I don't know if I'd buy a 4-pack every week of it, but
Well, craft beer isn't
it's good.
meant to be bought the same thing over and over.
Yeah, no, it's good. I would definitely buy a 4-pack of it then, in that case.
All right, win.
There you go.
Success this
Very
week.
good.
All right, well, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the weather. And we'll see you guys next week.
Cheers, everybody.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.
It's hard.